Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
How are you today?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm excited to be here. We haven't been to Munich in, gosh, like 5 years almost.
Yeah, that's the next question I wanted to say.
Yeah.
You've been to Munich before, but...
We have. Yeah, we've actually played this venue a few times.
Oh.
But yeah, I mean, not in a really, really long time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's good to be back.
How is it? Like, what are you excited about this tour?
Man, I'm excited about a lot of things. I mean, I love being in Europe. Like, it's a shame that we don't get to come here as often as maybe other bands do. Or we certainly don't come here as often as I would like to, because I love it here. I think that the culture is really cool. It's obviously like so beautiful comparatively to like the United States. You know, it's like there's a lot more history and there's more just like beauty here, and like I don't know, it's so much fun. So not to mention the fact that like the shows in Europe are always awesome. Like, people always have such a great time, and crowds get rowdy and have fun, and it's it's great. So I think overall I'm just like looking forward to finally playing in all the places that we haven't played for such a long time, and getting to see all like the fans again, and then also hopefully create some new fans and you know, see some new faces and whatnot. So yeah, I think
Is the show like different in Europe than compared to the US, or like the crowds, or?
They can be, yeah. The shows in Europe can certainly be very different from at home. I think it depends on where you go in Europe, like, and it could go either direction, right? Like it could either be like the crowds could be, you know, maybe a little bit more tame, a little bit more docile than at home. Or it could be the exact opposite, and the crowds could be way crazier and way rowdier and have like a lot of fun. So, it sort of depends. But for the most part, I think all the shows that we have played in Europe have been very positive overall, and we've had a lot of fun doing them. So yeah.
What's the most exciting aspect of performing in like different venues with different like audiences every night?
Yeah. I mean, I think you never know what you're gonna get, right?
Yeah.
I mean, unless you've been to the venue before. Where in this case, you know, we know what to expect with this venue, and we're always, you know, very happy to play here because the shows always go really well. But there are certain, you know, moments where you might end up at a place that you've never been to before, at a venue that you don't know, you know, what it's set up like or whether or not anybody's gonna show up. And that can be a little nerve-wracking at times. It really just depends. You know, every day is a little bit different, but that's part of the fun. You know.
That's right. So, do you have like anything like memorable experience with fans on tour? Like not obviously not on this tour because you just had one show before, but like in general, anything you had like that's really memorable in your head with fans?
Oh man, I mean, we have so many awesome interactions with our fans, and I think that we have such a caring and like loving fan base that we end up having like a lot of really special moments. But I guess like the one that's just coming to my head right off the bat, you know, right now, and I mean, I'm sure if you asked me this on another day, another memory would come to my head. But today it's just that, you know, for one, I'm colorblind. I have a song called Colorblind that I wrote, and you know, we perform basically every show. And a little fun fact about that is like, I actually am colorblind, and so some fans quite a while back, I mean this was probably 2017, organized like a little group where they all fundraised money to get a pair of those like seeing like color glasses,
you
know what I mean, that are like specifically made for colorblind people. And they saved up all this money for me, and they bought them for me and gave them to me at a show, and it was just like really special and really cool. And I mean, I would have never expected that to come from our fan base and like people who have maybe never even, you know, met me, or that I've never met before, who are just like so willing to want to, you know, do something special for us. And I thought that was really neat.
It's really sweet.
Yeah.
Well, I've not expected that.
Yeah, me either.
So is there any like must-have thing you have always with you on tour?
Oh man. Yeah, I have to have like some sort of noise canceling headphones on tour. That's like such a big thing, because I feel like oftentimes I get overstimulated or overwhelmed, and I just want to like retreat from everything around me, which is very hard to do a lot of times on tour because one, I mean, you're in close quarters all the time. You know, me and my bandmates were constantly within, 6 feet of each other in the van and not really anywhere to go. And then, we're in hotels where it's like pretty close quarters at night and all that stuff. So you never really get much alone time to yourself. And so being able to have like something that I can just like put on and zone out, and I don't have to hear anything around me or really like pay attention to anybody. I can just close my eyes and just do my own thing. So that's like super important. I don't know, I feel like that's like my number one thing.
That's important if you're like surrounded by people all the time 24/7 for
just
like weeks.
Need my own space just to chill, even if it's like mental space. Even
maybe it's sleeping time when like someone is snoring or anything.
Exactly. Now, to be fair, I think that I am a snorer.
Oh, okay.
I've been told that I'm a snorer, which I feel horrible about. But at the same time, if like I hear somebody snoring, it keeps me up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I try to like be courteous, but also like if someone's snoring, I gotta block it out.
Okay. So, what was like the biggest challenge you had on tour so far? Like not in this tour, but like
just
in general on the tour, like a really big challenge you had to face, and
I think like battling illness on the road is always a concern with any tour, especially myself, like being a vocalist. Like my physical health really determines whether or not my instrument, my voice, is going to work or not, right? Although the other guys, like, it might be a bummer to have to play a show when you're sick, you might not feel good, you can still use your hands and whatever, and you'll be okay. If I get sick to the point where my voice doesn't function, then it's like then we have to end up canceling shows, and that's something that's happened even this year. We were in the UK in the spring, and I ended up getting really sick, and I completely lost my voice, and we had to cancel our final show, which was going to be in Manchester. And so that really sucked, because there's like a lot of pressure, then on my shoulders to be like, well, shoot, like I can't do this, so now everybody's missing out on something, and that's like the fans are missing out on a show, but also the venue's missing out on income. The people who rely on like our industry to like survive are losing things. So that pressure weighs really, really heavy on me most of the time. But we do what we can to stay healthy. We like take our vitamins, and I always have like a little like medicine cabinet of stuff with me, so that if I have like allergies, I got it taken care of. If I have a sinus problem, I got sinus decongestion. I have throat stuff and everything with me in my bag. So I try to stay on top of it.
But ultimately,
literally, I've got it all. So I think that's probably the hardest thing on tour.
I can imagine. So you released your latest album in August, right?
Yes.
Rocus.
Yeah.
So can you tell me a bit of like the influences and like some insights of this album?
Yeah, I mean it's certainly the most different thing that we've made so far. Sonically, it sounds unlike anything that I think Movements has done in the past, and I think that's a really good thing. Because I think that we're constantly challenging ourselves to grow and evolve and change in a way that we feel confident in what we're putting out, but that we feel that it's a significant enough departure from where we were in the past that it doesn't feel stagnant. So I mean the thing with this record is that there were so many different influences from all over the sort of sphere of like the music universe, right? I mean, we were drawing inspiration from everything from like, the Strokes and Block Party and like the Killers, kind of more like alt rock sort of bands, to full on like pop bands, like or pop artists, right? Like Snow Patrol, or like even like Justin Bieber, like there's like certain
interesting.
There's certain pockets of the record that are very pop inspired. And then on the a complete other side of that page, it's like there's very like much so heavier rock elements kind of also combined in there. And so we were really just trying to take a mash of everything, you know, all of that, and then also our original kind of sound, like the more emo stuff and post-hardcore stuff, and blending it all together and sort of seeing what worked and what didn't. And so that was really fun, because every single day that we were writing this record, which we wrote over the course of probably 5 or 6 months, every day we would go into the studio and just like start writing a song and see what happens, you know?
Yeah.
And some days it was like, wow, we made a really cool song today. And other days it would be like, this song kind of sucks, like maybe we should try something else, you know?
Yeah.
So it was a lot of trial and error, but it was really, really fun trial and error. And I think just being able to have that freedom to really do whatever we want and to throw any preconceived notions out the window really, really helped create a record that is like very cool and different and fun in like a great way. So yeah, it's awesome.
Okay, yeah, interesting. So your lyrics are like always really personal.
Yeah.
How do you approach as a band on like writing songs?
Yeah, I mean, it really does depend, right, on from a song-to-song basis, right? And lyrically, all of my lyrics are based in personal experience. And that's something that I think is still very, very true to this day. However, I think like now I'm leaning less into like writing about depression and anxiety and like mental illness type stuff, because I suffer less with it these days. You know, when we started this band and for a long time, that was still something that was very, very prevalent for me in my life. And these days, it's not as prevalent, you know, which I think is a really, really good thing.
It is.
But some people, you know, might hear that and be like, oh, well, where's like the sad, depressing, like, you know, like the music that I connected to, like where has that gone, you know? And the way that I like to kind of look at it is like, it would be disingenuous of me to continue to write about something that I'm not personally dealing with for the sake of it trying to make a point or connect with other people, right?
Yeah.
If other people who are listening maybe aren't quite at that point in their lives yet where they have sort of experienced more healing like I have, that's okay, you know? And it's okay that you maybe don't identify with what certain songs are about right now. But my hope is that everybody who's struggling with those things and who does still really resonate with the really dark, heavy stuff, is that someday when they're also in a place where they're feeling better and where their life is, where they've experienced more healing in their journey, right, that then they'll be able to connect more with the happier stuff and the stuff that is a little bit more in line with where I'm at right now, you know? And that could always change, you know? Like, there's no saying like what the future will bring. I don't believe that healing is linear in any sense of the word. I'm always going to have ups and downs, you know, always. And so I'm sure there will be more songs that do deal with heavier and darker subjects, but I think for this record, the main things I was feeling were happy, in love, and then more so like on like, I guess the darker side of things, like angry, you know, like there's a lot of anger in this record that's not something that we've really explored before in Movements songs, you know, outward anger towards the world around me. That's not really ever been a theme, and it is now. So I think that there's still a lot to connect to. It's just in a different way now. That was sort of a roundabout way of answering your question. I'm sorry, but
then for the last question, I just want to say, if you have anything special to say to your fans who are like listening to this now, or like something you would tell your younger self, or
I mean, my biggest message to anybody who listens to this band is just thank you. You know, thank you for supporting what we do. Obviously, we do all of this because of our fans who support us and who continue to want to come and see our band play or listen to the music that our band puts out. It truly is like such a special thing for us, and we appreciate it like so much more than anybody could, I think, ever even realize. And then I guess, to cap it off, like if there was anything I could tell my younger self, it would just be like, stop worrying about all the little things that you feel like are big things right now, you know? Because eventually you're gonna look back to your things that you're dealing with and think like, man, that wasn't worth the stress. That wasn't worth the lack of sleep or the losing the thousands of minutes and hours or whatever to like that anxiety and that stress, because like at the end of the day, things work out the way that they're supposed to, and it's going to get better. You just have to like give it the time to do so. So like if you're struggling with something now, just know that like it's going to turn around at some point, you know, and you just got to let it happen. So yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so
Thanks for the
much.
time.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you guys so much.